First, I want you to go to the Jedi Temple. We will catch them off balance. Do what must be done, Lord Vader. Do not hesitate. Show no mercy. Those were the words of Darth Sidious to his apprentice, the newly appointed Darth Vader, the former Jedi known as Anakin Skywalker. Sidious's plan was in full effect. After years of manipulation, Anakin Skywalker, the prophesied chosen one, had completed his turn to the dark side. Sidious had executed Order 66, turning the massive clone army against the Jedi scattered across the galaxy. The grand plan had finally come to pass. The Great Jedi Purge had commenced. There are different accounts of this event, whether we're talking about legends or canon, but for this video we're going to pull some from both continuities to paint the best picture that we can and take a close look at how tragic this event was for all who suffered through it. One of the first instances of the Purge is known as Operation Nightfall. The newly anointed Darth Vader, along with an army of 501st clone troopers, marched into the Jedi Temple following the orders of Darth Sidious. Vader's true intentions were unknown to Sidious, as one of, if not the primary reason for Vader killing the Jedi, was that he knew they would not understand his true motivations and the context behind Mace Windu's death, and Anakin's main goal of saving Padme, the woman that he loved, the woman that was carrying his child. All of this was a means to an end. And after Anakin, or Vader, had learned what he had to from Sidious, he intended to turn on him and end his rule before it had barely begun. Marching the steps of the Jedi Temple, Vader encountered Jedi Gate Master Jurok, who Vader asked about the whereabouts of Temple Commander Shaak Ti. After learning that she was currently meditating, Vader killed the Gate Master and led the clones inside. The 501st dispersed throughout the Temple's halls, under the direction of Commander Appo, while Vader took a group of troopers for himself. Vader and his clones entered the Temple's library and came face to face with the Jedi Archivist Jocasta Nu. Vader told her to grant him access to the communications room under the orders of the Supreme Chancellor. Jocasta Nu would insist that only the Jedi Council could authorize access, and seeing the danger before her, she would even ignite her own lightsaber before the Sith and clone army. Vader would however use his own lightsaber to impale her and end the life of the Archivist. Vader then commanded the clones to stand guard over the exits so that no one could leave or enter the temple to give assistance. Vader would then hunt down any remaining Jedi scattered about the library and end them. A group of clones would even come to possess a holocron containing Jedi and Sith knowledge and delivered it to an awaiting transport. Vader would even be assaulted by a squad of snipers, and at the suggestion of a clone, Vader would topple a large statue which would crush the snipers underneath it. Jedi interceptors would be launched in an attempt to stop the chaos. However, Vader would commandeer an anti-aircraft gun and shoot them down. A beacon would be sent out, alerting the Jedi to return to the temple and that the war had reached its end, leading any Jedi who heeded the message to walk right to their deaths. Vader would finally encounter Shaak Ti in her chambers, and the two would engage in a duel. Shaak Ti would manage to disorient Vader for a moment and was able to lead a group of Jedi and Padawans toward the temple's exits. In the meantime, the 501st would secure the Jedi Council chambers and battle the temple security force in the main hall. Vader found himself in the High Council chamber, searching for more survivors. He came across a group of younglings, and I think we unfortunately know what happened after that. The temple burned. Countless Jedi, not only in the temples but across the entire galaxy, had been slaughtered. No one had been safe. So many lives had been lost. After much time had passed and the fighting began to die down, Sidious arrived at the Jedi Temple to see the terrible damage. Vader would be greeted by his Sith Master and was congratulated for his efforts. He would then be tasked to visit Mustafar and bring a permanent end to the Confederacy of Independent Systems. The temple burned throughout the night as the citizens watched in shock and horror. Martial law was declared, the skylines were closed and the traffic was redirected. Obi-Wan would make his return from Utapau after killing General Grievous, and although he received the message for the Jedi to return to the temple, he thankfully recognized it as a trap. Along with Master Yoda, who would go on to engage in a duel with Sidious, while Darth Vader traveled to Mustafar and battled Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I think we all know what happened next. In the aftermath of the destruction, bodies of Jedi were piled up at the temple's entrance, where a scared and confused crowd of Coruscant citizens would look on. The now christened Galactic Emperor Palpatine would claim that the Jedi made an attempt to take over the galaxy and end his life, which left him scarred and deformed. As I said, there are some different accounts depending on whether we're discussing Legends or Canon, and in Canon, as Vader and the clones marched up the Jedi Temple steps, beginning Operation Nightfall, a temple guard would recognize Anakin and would even mutter Skywalker under his breath before being struck down. This has to be one of the most heartbreaking parts of this, really, in my opinion, is that you had these unsuspecting Jedi, younglings, and anyone else really, who knew Anakin as being a great Jedi Knight, a hero and general of the Clone Wars, and even a friend to some, only to see him coming towards you and striking you down unsuspectingly, along with the army of clone troopers that had been allies to the Jedi for a number of years at this point. Also in canon, we now know that Grogu was at the Jedi Temple during this ordeal, and he was protected by a group of Jedi who were killed during the raid. Grogu would however be saved by Kelleran Beck. Despite being ambushed by the clone troopers, Grogu and Beck were able to board a small Naboo yacht to escape the battle and leave Coruscant behind. Meanwhile, back in the temple, Anakin and the 501st would come across the youngling Reva as well as her friends, and even they wouldn't be safe from harm, as Vader would stab Reva in the abdomen and presumably kill the others as well. Reva would survive her wound and grow up to pursue Vader and seek revenge on him for his actions. After decades and decades of the rule of two, leading the Sith to grow more and more powerful with each generation, Palpatine, Darth Sidious, and his new apprentice Darth Vader brought an end to the Jedi Order. Countless lives were lost. The revenge of the Sith had come to fruition. The Great Jedi Purge, Order 66, Operation Nightfall, one of the darkest nights in the history of the galaxy. Emperor Palpatine, Darth Sidious, had won. Thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you so much for over 200 subscribers now. I really appreciate it. Thank you for all the likes and everyone who leaves a positive and kind comment. It really does mean a lot, and I really appreciate it. May the Force be with you, and I will see you soon.